buying the food online and picking it up offline. And if you don't know how to cook, you can even get a professional cook for you. It's all such an easy way for customers to make their outdoor barbecue dreams come true. But behind all this convenience is a really detailed workflow. In the online operation office of the company, a team of 10 people work for the Taobao shop and the WeChat official account. And another group of 6 people work a 24/7 schedule, taking orders by phone from online customers. In addition, Li says he usually has a delivery team of 40 people in Shanghai for customers who don't have time to come to the shop and pick up things they order. They only use metro lines in the city to commute because Li says that makes them able to figure out delivery times more accurately. And then there's buying supplies in the first place.
From the start, we standardized the work, including raw materials, purchasing, certification, testing, and all the files. We only work with qualified food processors.
The processors Li works with are big ones. For example, this 8,000 square meter factory in Shanghai's Fengxian district supplies chicken wings, beef, and other meat products to the Family Mart and C-store chains. The factory claims its standards are higher than national requirements. It imports all its food from overseas countries. Beef, for example, is from Australia.
At some point, China's food industry will strengthen inspection of food safety and source checking. This should be speeded up.
The factory spent millions of yuan to purchase a set of machines to produce barbecue food especially for YesBBQ. These production machines can automatically string meat onto wooden barbecue sticks so that the amount of food and production pace can be controlled. Every string of beef, for example, is 30 grams, and they can count how much meat they supply for YesBBQ every week. For example, these days they supply 200 boxes, each containing 180 strings of beef a week. The factory has orders worth over 1 million yuan from Family Mart every month. The Yuanshi only takes in 4 million yuan a year. Why does a factory this size want to work with YesBBQ, to the extent of spending millions of yuan to set up a production line for them?
The most important thing was Mr. Li himself. We don't judge on the size of a company, we judge on his ambition on the barbecue market.
To work more closely with factories like this, YesBBQ is also training staff members in standardized work procedures. Li's father is also in the training team as a trainer, and that's crucial for the entire O2O process.
I am responsible for material purchasing and quality checking. We are a team. Without him or me, we wouldn't be able to do the business. I will train his friends and classmates as a startup project so that I can retire, maybe just 1 to 2 years.
Li spent the last 2 years writing and editing a handbook for the workflow at YesBBQ. Li said the whole process of standardization cost him nearly 1 million yuan. With the handbook, he said he's ready to make even bigger plans for his barbecue business.
So, Professor, its business model right now, at least on paper, looks very successful, right? Because its profit margin, 50%, that's highly, highly successful for the restaurant industry. But nonetheless, it is still a small and developing company right now, trying to build up its resources. But the founder right now wants to invest more into internal management and operations. Is this a wise choice right now?
You know, Michael, this is a great question. I actually applaud the founder for focusing on internal management and placing in SOPs and other formal control systems. I mean, we've done the research on startup companies around the globe, and what we find is startup companies typically go through the first so-called entrepreneurial crisis when the founder transitions from an entrepreneurial mindset to a professional management mindset, which involves, the usage of formal control systems. And this typically happens when the company headcount grows to about 50 to 80 employees. That's where the informal management would fail, because the CEO can no longer communicate with every employee in the company individually, right? And he can't really monitor everyone's behavior either. So it's actually a good idea to start using formal controls. And what we also find is startup companies that use formal controls will continue to enjoy high growth afterwards, whereas companies that don't will unfortunately run into a chaos, which will jeopardize their future success.
But at this stage right now, do you think it's a good idea? It's going to be very costly, because right now his operation's mostly online, not that expensive, but at this stage right now, not questionable for you?
Well, I think first of all, I think YesBBQ is big enough. They have not only a team that sits in the office, take orders, but they also have a delivery team. And I think SOP is crucial if you operate a restaurant business. So I think, but of course, there's a cost-benefit trade-off. You don't want to use formal controls too early on, but that's something you should start think about at least.
Okay.
Right.
So in terms of logistics, YesBBQ is already working with a very large and credible supplier for this barbecue company. What else do you think can the founder do to strengthen vendor management? Because he's familiar with this supplier. What if he meets a new supplier who needs more convincing to supply to YesBBQ, which is still a relatively small company right now?
Right. Well, I think one thing that YesBBQ can do is try to share more information and priorities with the vendor. I mean, that doesn't mean you have to open up your internal system and give vendor full access to it. The appropriate vendor management practice will only involve providing necessary information at the right time, so your vendor understands better how to service your needs. And I think commitment is also important. So you want to show your vendor that you're committed to this relationship, and hopefully we'll be able to gain support, right, from your vendors. And I think also building a long-term relationship is also crucial. I mean, you can change vendors from time to time just to save a penny here and there in the short term, but in the long term, changing vendors will cost you more and also will compromise the quality.
Well, Li Ye has sort of operated his father's barbecue stall when he came back from college. Now he has an online barbecue site. Now he has national ambitions as well, and he's thinking about standard operating procedures. It seems like a CEO in the making here for Li Ye and his businesses. So Li Ye has indeed national ambitions for YesBBQ. He's trying now to figure out how to expand this business. We'll talk about the future of his barbecue business coming up next.